The Binding of Isaac was originally released back in 2011 to high praise from critics. In 2014 and in 2015, an improved version with extra content was released retitled The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Since the release of Rebirth, two new DLC packs were released titled Afterbirth and later on Afterbirth Plus. Both expansion packs added in new enemies, bosses, items, and playable characters. At the time of filming this review, Afterbirth Plus is available on PC as DLC and expected to launch as DLC on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One later this year. However, an all-in-one package Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus with all the DLC content and the base game have been released ahead of time for the Nintendo Switch, making it the most updated console version of the game next to the PC version. Now that you're familiar with the release of the history of Isaac, let's get into the game we're reviewing. Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus retails for $39.99 on the Nintendo Switch and is available both physically and digitally at the time of this review. It's a bit more pricey than if you were to buy the base Rebirth game and all the DLC on PC, which would end up being around $35, and you can assume that extra $5 goes towards the physical manufacturing and porting costs of the game on the Nintendo Switch. After all, Binding of Isaac is one of the coolest looking physical game releases I've seen in a while, coming with stickers for fans of the game along with the physical manual designed to look just like the original manual for the first Legend of Zelda game on the NES. That's a pretty nice touch. Story-wise, the game has you playing as a little boy named Isaac. One day while Isaac's mom is watching Christian broadcast shows on TV, she hears a voice from up above who she presumes to be God. God essentially tells her that Isaac has been corrupted and the only way that she could prove her faith to God is to sacrifice her corrupted son. Isaac, being frightened of his mom, runs to the basement trying to survive, obviously being a reference to the whole story of Abraham and Isaac. Controls are incredibly simple for this game. You control Isaac with the left stick or the D-pad, and you fire his tears with the right stick or any of the face buttons in any of the directions. Pressing L lets you drop bombs, ZL activates any items that you're holding, while R activates any pills or cards you're holding, and ZR drops whatever item you're holding. Oh, and the select/minus button acts as sort of a map to reference where you are in the game so far. For those new to the series, Binding of Isaac is essentially a randomized Legend of Zelda for NES dungeon game. When Isaac falls into the basement, he basically is thrown into this dungeon-like basement that is completely randomized with enemies and bosses. Defeating a boss will drop you down another floor until you eventually reach the mother boss. It's a very simple progression system for the game, and depending on your luck and skill, you can beat the game in a matter of minutes or a little bit longer. But like a game of Tetris, it's not so much about beating the game, but playing it over and over again through different dungeons and improving your score. If you do look deep enough though, there is a deeper interpretation of the game's story that leads up to a total of 20 different possible endings. A lot of the fun and charm of Binding of Isaac comes from its unpredictability and its learning curve. While in design the game is easy to pick up and play, the amounts of enemies and power-ups are insane. In the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, there's a total of 600 different enemies that you can collect with 180 different types of enemies and over 90 possible bosses. So even veterans of the series who have bought just the base Rebirth game and have never bought any of the DLC will still surely be surprised by some of the things they encounter in this version of the game. Now aside from the main game, you do have some extras like online and multiplayer co-op features. If you turn on a second controller while you're in the game, you'll actually spawn in a second player for local co-op. With the Binding of Isaac's simple control scheme and always having two Joy-Cons on hand, the Nintendo Switch seems like a perfect matchup for the Binding of Isaac's co-op local multiplayer mode. In terms of online, there isn't any online multiplayer, but rather daily challenges and a leaderboard for those of you that are after the high scores in this game. There's also an offline local challenge mode that can change up the gameplay, like changing your types of tiers or darkening the dungeons to make it harder to see. You can even change the difficulty of just your basic run-through if you really want to challenge that badly. If you've never played The Binding of Isaac before, 1. Where have you been the last 6 years? And 2. Here's a good time to pick up the game. The Nintendo Switch version is the first console/portable version of the game that has the newest Afterbirth Plus DLC. In addition, you get some pretty cool physical bonuses if you buy the game at retail over digital. However, if you already own the base Rebirth game on other consoles like the PS4 and Xbox One, then this is a harder pill to swallow unless you're a diehard Isaac fan that needs to own every version of the game for some reason. The Afterbirth Plus DLC is coming to other consoles later on this year, and the base game without the DLC is available on PlayStation Vita and the new 3DS for cheaper than you would if you bought the entire version on the Switch. If you already own the game, then there isn't much of a reason to drop another $40 on the Switch version, but if you've never owned the game before on console or own a portable version of Isaac already on 3DS or Vita, then Afterbirth Plus is a really great pickup. For $40 you essentially get the most updated version of the game that's available on PC, on console, ahead of all the other console releases, in addition to getting a home console version of Binding of Isaac, along with technically a portable version because it's on Nintendo Switch. And that's my review of The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Let me know if you have any questions about the game in the comment section below or on Twitter for a faster response. And as always, if you have a request for a game that's coming out soon that you want me to review, hit me up on Twitter or drop it in the comment section below. Thank you all very much for watching, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.